people deluded. Now, Eddie Nketiah, forgive me for mispronunciation. Some of you say it's one, then it's the other, but we'll just call him Eddie. Now, Eddie's a player I've got a lot of time for. It remains to... You guys know I'm not a person who's going to say Joe Willock's going to be the next England and Arsenal regular. Eddie's this. Trey Coyle's that. John Jules is this. Musa's that. You guys know I like these players, but I'm not going to sit here and put unhealthy tags on them. We'll let them develop and see. Eddie's a player I've got a lot of time for. The man's a goal scorer. Whether he makes it at Arsenal or elsewhere remains to be seen, but he's going to have a career. He's a goal scorer, and that's a good attribute to be attached to strikers, because at the end of the day, that's all you're judged on. I've seen good strikers with all the general play in the world, but they're not minimum 20 goals a season, which isn't even praised upon a days. But for me, anyways, it's still good. They're not remembered. Some players that don't have any real ability in terms of general play can score goals, praised. That's a good thing. But I feel Eddie's got a lot more technical ability and a lot more anticipation or movement skills than he's given credit for, especially when he works the channels. We know he's in a unique position. He's 19, he's turning 20 very soon, later this year. He's in a unique position, and it goes for a lot of young players in the sense of, you would think for his personal development, the best thing he can do is play week in, week out, or get some minutes, then more minutes than he's getting. But from a manager's point of view, from Unai Emery's point of view, or even mine as a fan, you look at the injuries we've had. Wells is injured. If something happens to Lacazette and Aubameyang, then there's an issue. So Eddie probably has to stay. But it is selfish. There's no way around it, because we're harming him. He needs to play football. I actually want him to stay. I want him to collect a couple minutes more than he's been getting off the bench. Especially, there's been times where we're behind in games and he hasn't brought him on. So do you not rate him, Unai Emery, or what? I do think you are seeing more on the training ground. So there's clearly something he's not showing. But I honestly think he's at that level where wow, them cats making noise, that scared me. He's at that level, folks, where he needs to play week in, week out, because I think the big issue for me is that, obviously, when you're a young player, you don't get many chances. So when it comes, you want to take full advantage. And I feel his problem has probably been he tries a bit. He's been trying too hard to score. His movement's been good and things like that. But I think he's putting too much pressure on himself to score a goal. And it will happen. It will happen. You see him going livid at players when they haven't squared him the ball. He's been greedy at times. Or he's probably not converted chances that he would like. You look at the two against Blackpool. I've seen Eddie Nketiah convert that with his eyes closed at under 23 levels. But there's a lot of pressure. He's probably thinking, okay, cool, the manager's finally giving me a chance. If I don't take it, what's going to happen? Now, on the flip side, I think Unai Emery's giving these young lads confidence and saying, good or bad, don't worry, you're still developing, and he clearly rates him. But that's both sides of the debate. I'm not saying... I think he should be getting more minutes. I'm not saying we got Chelsea on the weekend. I'm not saying throw him into that, but he definitely should get minutes. And the minutes he's got, it's more than I thought, but upon looking at it statistically, but it's not really minutes to develop you as a young man. He's only going to learn from playing League One Championship football for the next 6 months or next season, converting chances, getting comfortable, playing against defenders with different characteristics, some that can beat him for pace, physicality, some that are more aggressive, or some that drop off a bit more. So he's going to have to learn to counteract that. You're not going to get that. He's played twice in the Europa League, once in the FA Cup, and once in the Prem and EFL. At under 23's level, he's got in 7 appearances, 6 goals and 1 assist. You might as well say he's contributed to 7 in 7. That shows you he's got ability. We know the men's game or the professional game is a different level, but you get the point, man. I think his movement and all of these things, he's shown he's good enough. In fact, against Norwich, he's shown that he can convert. But by the same logic, he's been on the bench 8 times and made no appearances. I can't remember all of them, but I wrote down some. I'm sure Wolves, Bournemouth, United, Huddersfield, Burnley, Fulham, Brighton, West Ham, and I'm probably missing something out. He obviously got 64 minutes against Blackpool. He got 25 in the Nketiah against Spurs. He's been given 90 twice in the Europa League, forgive me if I'm wrong, and he only came on for a minute against Bournemouth. So while he's getting opportunities, he's getting chances, and he's making progress, and you do have to be patient. We can't discount patience. Is this really enough minutes or enough suitable minutes to get time? And if I flip it on its head, definitely in them 7-8 games I named, or don't think I got to 7, he could have been afforded minutes, or he could have helped us. So if I look at it, and I've seen sometimes when we're chasing, even on Sunday, a fullback in Bellerin's coming on to help us try and get a goal more before Eddie. So what does that tell him? Again, he's not a senior. He's basically first team, but he's not a senior player like that yet. So he has to wait his patience. But what does that tell you? If you're not going to use him such as that, let him go on loan and play football. Now again, I sound like a hypocrite because I'm on the fence. For me, I believe we need to not be selfish. Go and let him play. Like, just go and let him play. Or this looks like we're getting top 6 again. The likes of Emil, Eddie, A couple of others, I can't see it off the top of my head. I've gone blank. But a lot of these young players, you might as well just blood them and just let them get minutes and suitable minutes for next season or whatever, because it looks like this season's a write-off. So like I just said, people, I get it, because I want to keep him. I want him to play games, and I love Eddie. But by the same logic, and we've got injuries, but by the same logic, he's only going to take that next step by playing football, because him and Joe Willock and a couple others. Joe Willock's irrelevant to this, but they're at that level. Too good for under 23s. First team, how much are they realistically going to play? And if we're honest, they're not ready to be regulars starting 10, 20 games. They're good enough to get minutes here and there, and they should, but you get the point. The under 23s isn't going to help them. So what do you do to bridge the gap? Like Wenger said, if you're not ready by 19, you never will be. Some exceptions to that rule. He is ready, but he needs to play football. If anything more, just confidence. I want to see him more confident, because he's in for a long career as a striker. The minute you score goals, you're on top of the world. You don't score any, you feel you're poor. When everything's working right, you're scoring with your ear, your shin. When it's going wrong, you can't score tap-ins. There's a lot of stuff that he's going to have to deal with. But all in all, out of a potential 900 minutes in the Premier League, I hope my minutes is right, he's only got 270. So while that's not enough, is that really enough minutes for a young man to really make headwinds or make progress in regards to his development? Let's keep it real. He is making development. Clearly, he's probably learned a lot of stuff from Unai Emery and people surrounding the coaching staff that we will never be able to comprehend. And he does look better game in, game out. But it is what it is, man. But I just feel him, probably Willock, Saka as well, and Emil just blood them. He's already ahead of schedule, because the average Premier League debut age is actually 22 and the average career is actually 18. So he's ahead of schedule in that department. But yeah, man, that's just some thoughts I would share on Eddie, man, because I always see his name on the bench, get gas, and he doesn't come on. And I want to see him play. I want to see him, regardless of if he makes it at Arsenal or not. I think he's got a future within the game, and I want to see him realise his potential. Again, we got to be patient. Well, it is what it is. So let me get out of your hair on that note. People, deluded, stay safe, subscribe, like, and do the rest.